Hello, thank you for tuning in. If you have not subscribed, please hit that subscribe button, please. And thank you. The what, the when, and the why of the process. Remember, we've been talking about the process. Hannah and Peninnah. Hannah had to be processed. Hannah didn't know what was going on. Hannah was being oppressed by Peninnah. The what? The what is the situation or the circumstance or the persons that God will use to process you, to process me. We don't determine what it is that God or who God is going to use to bring out that anointing in us. Remember, because the spiritual warfare is intensifying, we must have the anointing to meet the intensity of the warfare. And so we don't know what situation, we don't know who God will use to work that process in us. The when. The Bible said, think it not strange, the fiery trials that come to try us as though some strange thing happened. You might be feeling all good and well-to-do. You might have your bank account may be full. Your children are doing well. Your wife, even yourself, you in good health. You're living and you feel like you on the top of the world. But all of a sudden, seem like things just start crashing. They come crashing down on you. And you wonder what has happened. What's going on? Again, is the when. You don't know when. You don't know how, and you don't know what, but God is working the process in you, in me. Again, he's calling and he's ready in this end time army. And we don't know when, but we do know. Oh, Jesus. It's Jesus. It's God that working it in us. Now, we've talked about briefly the what, the when, and the why. Now, we know why. Why is God doing this again? Because we have to have the anointing. The anointing has to be so strong on us to meet the intensity of the spiritual warfare that we will encounter in this end times. God is preparing us. Say, he is preparing me. He's preparing you for this end time warfare. And it's going to get intense. We can feel it now. We can feel the intensity now. And so the anointing, we have to have, the anointing has to be so strong on us to meet that intensity. You got to meet fire with fire. Yes. And so that's the why. The Lord don't want you to be destroyed in the battle, in the war. So therefore, he has to turn up his anointing. And remember, God does not turn up his anointing on anybody, just anything. You can't just decide, oh, I want the anointing to increase in me. To have an increase of anointing, you and me have to complete and allow the process to complete itself in us. The Bible said, let patience have her perfect work, that we may be entire, complete, lacking nothing. If we do that, we will be sons and daughters of God. God will turn up the power, the anointing in us. If not, you will faint in the day of adversity. The scriptures tells us if we faint in the day of adversity, our strength is small. Ooh, our strength is small. Remember, I told you I enlisted in the military when I was 18. And when I went in, I didn't think it was gonna be like what I had thought. It was tough. Just like I said on the previous video, it felt like they were trying to kill us. But I realized, and they helped us to understand that we had to be trained. It had to be tough in order to prepare us just in case we had to fight during wartime. Just like the Lord is preparing us because he knows that it's going to get very, very intense. And he wants us to be prepared. Now, in the military, if you did not pass your training, you got recycled. You had to go through that process all over again. I made sure that I did not have to go through that process again. I submitted, so let's submit to the process. Don't run from your place of processing. Don't run. Stand still in God, because knowing this, he will bring you out. He will bring me out if we allow the patience to have her perfect work in us. Again, we can control how long, just like Hannah did. Remember, we've been talking about Hannah and Peninnah. Peninnah was Hannah's what? He used Peninnah. Peninnah mocked, she talked about, she frustrated. Hannah allowed herself to be frustrated by Peninnah and her persecution, talking about her, probably getting with her friends, making fun of her. You see, she can't have no children. Yeah, girl, you know she can't. I'm having them all. Just popping them out. Just like clockwork. And poor Hannah was getting frustrated day by day. Because back then, in the Bible day, it was a blessing. And it made people think that God had shone upon you, favored you, if you were able to bear children. And if you weren't, the whole community frowned on you. People looking at you, shaking their heads. Y'all been married for how many years now? 10? And you still have not bore him any children? The Bible said that in the second chapter, 1 Samuel, that been our foundational chapter, 1 Samuel, first chapter, the Bible said God shut up Hannah's womb. God did it. So if God did it, if he shut up a womb, if he shut up a situation in your life to bring the process to pass, to work the process in you, in me, then he would close up situations. He would close up the womb. He would close up the promotion. For what? For you to cry out. You can determine how long. You can't determine when, and you can't determine what. But you can determine how long the process will be worked in your life. Hannah prayed. The Bible says she went on a fast. She fasted. When you're not eating, you fast. When they went up to Shiloh, to the temple to worship, they had to go once a year. They did this annually. Instead of her participating in the festivities, Hannah went to the temple and prayed. She prayed. She called her own shut-in. The pastor didn't have to call the shut-in. She did. She knew that she had a need. She knew that her womb had been shut up and that she was frustrated that Peninnah and the whole town were just looking down on her because she could not bear any children. But her husband, Elkanah, he loved Hannah. Matter of fact, he favored Hannah over Peninnah. Peninnah was jealous. She persecuted Hannah day in and day out. And the scriptures, she became frustrated. Hannah became frustrated. And when they went up like they did annually to Shiloh, to the temple. She prayed while everybody was eating and having fun. She fasted and prayed. The Bible, the book tells us. The book tells us. The book tells us. She fasted and prayed so hard. She prayed from the depths of her soul. Have you ever cried out to God from the depths of your soul to change this situation? Hannah did. She cried in so much that when Eli, the prophet, the priest came in, he thought she was drunk. But Hannah said, no, I'm not drunk. I'm crying out. I'm trying to get a change, a breakthrough. Hannah was trying to get a breakthrough. And she did. Hannah got a breakthrough. She allowed the process to complete itself. That sacrifice of fasting and seeking God, crying out, moved the hand of God in her life. She allowed the process to complete itself. Eli told her, he said, get up. You and your husband go home. And you know what happened. The Bible said Hannah conceived. And the promise that she made God, that she would offer this son, this child, back unto him. She kept her promise. Just like Hannah allowed the process to work in her. God wants us to allow the process to work in us, complete itself. Because with the intensity of these end times and the spiritual warfare that we are now and will be in the future confronted with, we have to have the anointing to meet the intensity of the spiritual warfare. God bless you. Share this message.